Well, last night, I think a lot of my sort of American viewers will have certainly taken a big "oh no" moment because, well, as you can see, Trump is back. Yes, he's planning to make America great again, again. Um, but what has been probably very interesting certainly has been the split that is going on in the Republican Party. And for someone who doesn't follow American politics, I have like a very cursory, surface level following of American politics and like what goes on in there because some stuff that it happens over there can affect here. So it's very well worth sort of at least keeping an eye on what's going on across the pond, as we say. And now you've got Trump coming back. This raises huge questions, huge questions for the Republican Party because they've just had their midterms and they were expecting to completely sweep the table. We'll take back both the House and the Senate, was their claims. It is going to be a colossal red wave. But they lost races and seats to which all intents and purposes showed at the time they were almost a shoo-in to win. And as a result, the Democrats have I believe they've kept the Senate, and maybe they're about to maybe keep the House. I'm not 100% sure. Like I say, not not for sort of fully well versed. I'm sure other people will let me know down in the comments. But what was the consequence of this? And the Republican candidates, more importantly, who lost were all ones who were heavily backed by Trump, even some cases personally handpicked in the case of one Dr. Oz. So what happens now? Well, if you've seen the cope streams of some of the Republican commentators over there, the conservative pundits over in America, starting the night off with such joy and hope and then ending it almost dejected, Sam Cedar put it right with this very simple quote that to him, it looked like these were people who were part of a doomsday cult waiting for the end to arrive. When all of a sudden the allotted hour arrived and there was no end of the world, only to be told by their great and glorious leader that they hadn't calculated the equation properly. They forgot to carry the two. And now they look foolish. They look completely dejected. But there is, to be clear, a clear split arriving in the Tory party because there is a guy in Florida who won the governorship very, very handily called by the name of Ron DeSantis. Now, I don't know too much about his politics and what his ideas and what he stands for, but at the moment, that doesn't really matter. What does matter is at least some of the, shall we say, more sane Republicans, those who aren't, shall we say, being involved in January the 6th, massive QAnon supporters, and very much devotees to the Orange One himself. They are not part of that club. Want Ron DeSantis. I was going to claim Ron DeSantis, but they clearly want him. But what has been made very, very clear is that the Republican base wants Trump. So in a primary, and in the upcoming primary, there is going to be an almighty civil war take place, probably between DeSantis and Trump. That is if DeSantis decides to run. If not, the battle lines in the party are already being drawn, with more and more of these MAGA cultists, as we will call them, wanting and drawing upon even more bounds of insanity, wanting to push the party to be more extreme, because some of them, the reason why they lost wasn't because of the policies or anything like that. No, it was because we were not extreme enough. The Republican Party was not extreme enough. And that right there is going to be the cause of certainly the Republican Civil War. Now, those of you who do follow the channel know that I've been talking constantly about the Tory Civil War, and we have had open battles and skirmishes erupt. Certainly, when Johnson had been taken out, following, of course, Liz Truss, leading up to now Rishi Sunak put in place. But whereas in America, these battles and skirmishes take are done very, very much out in the open and very much on sort of public stage now, because, of course, Trump broke the golden rule, the Ronald Reagan #1 cardinal rule that Republicans should never break. Thou shalt never not attack a fellow Republican. That is gone. So the Republican Civil War that is about to take place is very, very, very messy from how it is going to play out. But the Tory Civil War we've got going on over here is done certainly more quietly, more civilly, in sort of more a polite tone and phrase. And certainly with the budget coming up, Rishi Sunak's then got a big question to ask, because beyond the budget, what's Rishi Sunak got to do? What's his big policy ideas? What is he going to do? There isn't anything beyond that. And lots of Tories are already gearing up to try and make sure that their different factions within our Tory party put their agenda forward, that their agenda gets seen to. So the budget, depending on what's in it, probably going to upset a lot of people. To which then the question will ask, well, now he's done the budget. Now he's, because since Rishi Sunak has come in, it's all been talk about the budget. Sunak's going to sort the budget. He's going to balance the budget. Well, after that, then what? So ours is going to be sort of very, very much, I feel, cloak and dagger, a war of words, where the Republican Civil War is certainly going to be fought very loudly and very clearly, and probably across all the TV networks that exist in America. So, hey, it's certainly gearing up to be very, very interesting. And I would love to talk to sort of an American pundit at some point, sort of the differences between, their Republicans and sort of our sort of conservatives. I think it would be very, very fun and sort of entertaining conversation as we sort of tell each other just what's going on. But if you're like, sort of me and sort of on the left, Trump running and destroying your Republican Party is fantastic. So in a way, while it is a oh no moment, there is a part which should be sort of glad about that Trump could very well just rip and tear and destroy the Republican Party over the next 2 years, as both this sort of MAGA conservatism and this sort of normie conservatism that's sort of pre-Trump now goes to battle with each other. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. And then, of course, over here, the big question is how long can Rishi Sunak sort of justify his continued existence, especially to all those different factions who are behind him? And the real question is when do they sense blood? When do they go in for the kill? When do they start sharpening their knives, as they say? At the moment, there's some very, very clear battle lines, but no one's in the trenches getting ready to fight just yet. But oh boy, are they gearing up for one. So that is the sort of difference that's going on sort of between the Republican civil wars and certainly the Tory civil wars to come. And of course, as they said in, in Game of Thrones, I wish you well in the battles to come. Because oh boy, are there going to be some battles both in America and here in the UK as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and one notification link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee, and the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Pony Club down below as well. So, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel, even if you just do click the like and share button. So, as always, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.